Okay guys, so today is day number 1. So, kind of the first step here. So, I'm going to talk about a lot of different things here, just kind of bear with me, and it'll all these videos will kind of just be kind of a jumble of everything that I'm doing. I'm going to try to explain what and why we thought about doing stuff. So we get this 40-foot container. It's a 45-foot container. And if we did this again, we wouldn't do it, because what they did was they have a normal 40-foot, and on the very edge, 2.5 feet, they welded on just a little extension. It's not one full 45 foot like we thought. So as you can see here next to this ladder, this is a big extra welded piece together. So cutting through that's gonna be a nightmare. So we're not gonna do that. We're gonna cut flush with this. So if we did this again, we wouldn't get this 45 footer. But the idea with this is we're going to cut all the way across the rim, all the way down the other side. So it'd be 40-foot section. I think it ends up being like 39 feet. I'm going to cut flush with the bottom at this ridge down here. So I'm going to cut flush straight in here. And so we might end up doing, we have a couple different plans for the next step, but I'm going to cut flush. So we have a nice square, flat surface to deal with. And I'm going to try to do the same up top. So inside, I'll go around here. There's a bunch of extra cars here, so I don't want to show off two of these other cars that are ours. But on the inside, we got these hooks. So I'm gonna try to get rid of those. And the idea is, we're gonna be flush to where it comes out. Oops, sorry. I'm gonna be flush to where it comes out here, and we're gonna cut straight across. So I'm gonna try from the outside. It should be easier. Inside, I'll probably get in here and do it, which will work. As you can see here, this is where they added on that extra part. So this is, going to be impossible to cut through. So we're going to cut right next to it and make it nice and flush. And we're going to do that to both sides. And the reason we're doing that for both sides is this will be the intake side next to the transformer, next to where the shed's going to be. So this will be the intake side. The other side would be the exhaust. So we'll show kind of those steps when we get there. Like I said, my goal today is cut along the bottom and cut along the top. I'm not going to completely cut through, because our next step is we're going to actually use this whole wall here on both sides. This is going to be our canopy over the top. So we're actually going to put some hinges and weld it to the very top of it. My business partner, who is an electrician, who's way handier than I am, this is kind of his idea. Instead of buying more material, buying more stuff for a canopy, we could just use this that's already here, nice and sturdy. It's already the right size, and then we'll have the canopy hanging over 8 or 9 feet, and that'll keep the water and stuff out. So we'll have to waterproof the top, but that'll be easy to do. So my plan today: cut along the top, cut along the bottom, and leave little sections so this doesn't like fold in on itself. And then he'll get some welding done, and then we'll finish cutting it. Hey guys, so it's now at night. I wasn't able to record the end result of day 1 because time got away from us and I had to go pick up the kids and so forth. So I'm recording now, and I have some screenshots from the video where I'll kind of just explain kind of what happened today and how things went. So the main thing I got done today was the very bottom. I got cut on both sides. Okay, it ended up being a lot harder than I anticipated, and mostly because when you're cutting the bottom, well, the weight's not getting held anywhere. So you're cutting through, and then it's getting sandwiched between the bottom plate and the side. It's just the weight going down on it. So it was actually sticking, and my angle grinder was getting stuck, and it was a mess. Plus, I've never used an angle grinder before, so like just getting used to it and so forth. And then I figured out, so it took me like 2 hours to get like 10 feet. It took me like 2 hours to get like another 20 feet. Then I went and grabbed lunch, and when I came back, I got the rest of it done in like an hour and a half, because I got used to it, and I figured out kind of a rhythm. And so I was cutting on the thicker part here on the outside, the part that's sticking out. I actually was cutting from the inside out, but same idea. The part that sticks closer to me, when I was cutting it, I'd start there and then go into the inside grooves, because it was the inside grooves is where it was getting stuck. So I'd start and go in, and then I'd start on the other side and finish the other side, and I just kind of work my way down. And when we look at the inside, so same thing on the inside. Sorry, I forgot I had this picture, but yeah, same thing in here. I'd start right here, and then I'd move in, and then start on the other side and go to the other side, and just keep working down. And I was leaving 6 inches of a gap, and I was where these hooks are at. That's where I would leave that and not cut there, because those hooks were a nightmare. So I'd go like 3 feet, leave 6 inches around that hook, go 3 feet, and so forth. And so, like I said, I got in a better groove. I got little wedges and a hammer, and so I start cutting. I wedge it in, keep cutting, wedge it in again, and then keep cutting, finish that 3-foot section. So I got much better at it. And then my business partner showed up at the end, and so I had the bottom all cut. He was was kind of seeing how things were going, getting some materials figured out, and so he was going to get some ordered. All of it came back actually better pricing than what we were thinking for some of the ideas. And our great idea to do like the rebar on the side, once we have the sides cut off, we're going to put we were originally thinking rebar. We found something else that's kind of a grating. It's going to be way cheaper and actually just as strong. So when we get there, I'll show that off. But so he was kind of taking inventory to get ordered, and what we kind of realized that we're going to need more. We're going to need some kind of power. So I was using an extension cord, and these parts on the side, the little breaker boxes on the side of the building, there's nothing in them. They're blank. They're just empty. What we found out at the very end of the day is this conduit right here goes inside this wall here behind this propane tank, and that's where the breaker is. And on that breaker, or I'm sorry, the breaker box, and on that breaker box, there's a 70 amp 3-phase breaker. There's a 45 3-phase breaker as well. So we got plenty of power. They're not even hooked up. There's nothing hooked up to them. They're sitting in the breaker box unused, because like I said, this building doesn't use any power anymore. Okay, the entire building uses on average like 40 amps or 50 amps all day long. That's it. It has all this power stuck to it. And so that breaker box is right on the other side of that wall. So that's going to make, when we do the office shed in this corner, we're going to punch it right through and go from right through the building into the shed. We're going to have plenty of power for me to test a couple ASICs and repairs and so forth and have stuff running. And we don't have to run from the container over to the shed. So we found that out at the end of the day. So that's going to make the end game much cleaner, smoother, more cost effective. Also, we have this box right here with this conduit. There's nothing in there. So we ran wire to that, and we're going to be able to run a welder from it, and we're going to use a plasma cutter, because I have the bottom all cut, but on the top we want it to be a little bit better and a little bit cleaner. And so on the top, we're going to plasma cut across. And so it should be very clean, a lot easier. And, we couldn't do that before because the power we were using was on an extension cord that was 150 feet away. So we didn't have 240, we didn't have 30 amp, but this nice and close, ran wire to it. And he can put the breakers and outlets, whatever he needs right here that they're not even using. Perfect. So we're gonna be set here. So that was at the end of the day. So it's going to make our process a little bit easier. So I just wanted to update you guys on what we got. Tomorrow we're going to pick up shelving. We're probably going to do a little bit of work. I think I'm going to cut the sides. I can cut the sides of what I got. Well, maybe I'll wait for the plasma cutter. We'll kind of see. And then do some of this hooking up and stuff like that. So, but mostly tomorrow morning we're going to go pick up the shelves that I found that were really cheap. And they're adjustable and they should fit. So I'll show that off a little bit. So I just wanted to update you guys on day one. Exciting. Nothing goes to plan, which is fine, but it's looking good. So thank you guys for checking this out, and keep following, see how this process works, and then at some point I'll tell you to send me your ASICs and let me host for you. So that's the end game, and I'm pretty excited about that. So thank you guys. Have a good day.